Have you ever felt like someone was watching you? Imagine lying on a quiet beach, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of the waves lulling you into relaxation, only to realize too late that you're not alone. This is exactly what happened to 23-year-old Heather Teague on August 26, 1995. She was sunbathing along the banks of the Ohio River in Spotsville, Kentucky, unaware that her every move was being observed. Within moments, she vanished without a trace. A single witness, a terrifying abduction, and a trail that leads nowhere. This is the story of Heather Teague's disappearance. Heather Teague was young, full of life, and had dreams of a bright future ahead of her. Described by friends and family as sweet-natured and caring, she was known for her warm personality and an adventurous spirit. Born and raised in Kentucky, Heather loved the outdoors. It was supposed to be just another relaxing summer day when she drove out to Newburgh Beach, a secluded spot along the river. The area itself was peaceful yet isolated, a place where locals sometimes went to escape, but also a place where danger could lurk unseen. It was this very solitude that made what happened next all the more chilling. As Heather lay in the sand, soaking up the sun, someone was watching her. Meanwhile, about a mile away, a man peering through a high-powered telescope from the Indiana side of the river would become the only known witness to Heather's abduction. He later told police he saw a man emerge from the nearby woods, grab Heather by her hair, and drag her into the trees. It was sudden, it was violent, and in an instant Heather was gone. Friends and family were left devastated. Heather had never shown any signs of trouble in her life, and she had no known enemies. This wasn't a woman who simply ran away. Something terrible had happened. The only question was, who was responsible? The witness, a man named Tim Walthall, immediately called authorities. His description of the abductor was chilling. A Caucasian male, shirtless, with long, shaggy hair, wearing dark pants and brandishing a gun. He pulled Heather from the sand, forcing her into the dense woodland, and then silence. No sounds of struggle, no screams reaching the distant witness, just an empty beach and the eerie rustling of the wind through the trees. By the time authorities arrived, there was no trace of Heather. No footprints leading away, no abandoned belongings, nothing to suggest where she had been taken. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. But as investigators scoured the area, they discovered something that would raise even more questions. A red bathing suit strap, tangled in the underbrush near where Heather was last seen. What happened to Heather after she was pulled into the woods? The possibilities were terrifying. Had she been dragged to a waiting vehicle? Was she still alive somewhere, held captive? Investigators knew that the first 48 hours were crucial in missing persons cases. Every moment wasted could mean the difference between life and death. The fear in the community was palpable. If someone could be taken so suddenly in broad daylight, what did that mean for others in the area? Were they dealing with a serial predator, or was this a targeted attack? As police scrambled for leads, the pieces of the puzzle refused to fit together. As authorities widened their search, they discovered tire tracks leading away from the beach. They were deep, as if a vehicle had accelerated quickly, possibly in a hurry to escape. The tracks led to a rural road before disappearing into the dense Kentucky landscape. Investigators believed they belonged to the suspect's vehicle, but they had no way to prove it. More disturbing still, witnesses in the area later recalled seeing a man matching the abductor's description lingering near the beach hours before Heather arrived. Was he waiting for someone, or was he specifically waiting for her? If this was a crime of opportunity, it was chilling enough. But if Heather had been targeted, it suggested something far more sinister. With nightfall approaching, search teams continued combing the area, but the forested terrain proved difficult. The thick underbrush and sprawling landscape made it nearly impossible to track someone who had a head start. As the hours passed, hope of finding Heather alive dwindled. The search for Heather Teague became one of the most intense in Kentucky history. Law enforcement combed through the dense woods and riverbanks, looking for any sign of the missing woman. Cadaver dogs, helicopters, and dive teams scoured the area, but no substantial evidence surfaced. Then came the first lead. Authorities identified a potential suspect Marty Dill, a local man with a criminal history and an eerie resemblance to the witness's description. Police linked Dill to a suspicious red Ford Bronco seen in the area at the time of Heather's disappearance. But when officers attempted to bring him in for questioning, something chilling happened. Dill barricaded himself inside his home and, before police could intervene, he took his own life with a shotgun. Inside Dill's home, investigators found disturbing evidence: duct tape, rope, guns, and even hair fibers. The items raised suspicion, but there was no definitive proof connecting him to Heather. Without a confession or a body, the case remained painfully open-ended. The case took another strange turn when new witnesses began coming forward. Some claimed they had seen Heather in the days after her disappearance, suggesting she might have been kept alive. Others reported seeing suspicious activity along the riverbank. But every lead, no matter how promising, seemed to end in frustration. Investigators examined phone records, looking for any calls that might link Dill to Heather. They uncovered evidence that he had made several calls to an unknown number in the days before her disappearance. But when police attempted to trace the number, they hit a dead end. Someone had wiped the records clean. A deeper dive into Dill's past revealed an unsettling pattern of violence against women. Several ex-girlfriends came forward, describing his controlling behavior and sudden outbursts of rage. Had Heather simply been his next victim, or was there something even darker at play? The most chilling aspect of the investigation came when authorities discovered that Dill had been in contact with a known sex offender just weeks before Heather's abduction. Was he working alone, or had he been part of something larger? With Dill dead, the answers seemed forever out of reach. Decades later, Heather Teague's fate remains unknown. Her family has never stopped searching for answers. Her mother, Sarah Teague, has been a relentless advocate for justice, pushing for new investigations, questioning law enforcement's handling of the case, and pleading with the public for any information. Over the years, possible sightings, anonymous tips, and theories have surfaced, but none have led to closure. The FBI has kept the case open, hoping that new forensic technology or a breakthrough tip might finally reveal the truth about what happened on that fateful summer day in 1995. As the years passed, suspicions surrounding law enforcement's involvement have only deepened. Some believe key evidence was lost or worse, intentionally suppressed. With multiple reports of inconsistent statements and leads that seem to disappear, the Teague family has continued to push for an independent investigation. Despite the passage of time, Heather's case remains one of the most haunting mysteries in Kentucky. Her story has been featured on national crime shows, and online forums are still filled with theories about what might have happened. But no amount of speculation can replace the one thing Heather's loved ones truly need: answers. A young woman taken in broad daylight, a suspect who never faced justice, and a family left with nothing but unanswered questions. The disappearance of Heather Teague is a haunting reminder that even in the most peaceful settings, danger can lurk just beneath the surface. If you or anyone you know has any information about Heather Teague's case, please contact the Kentucky State Police or the FBI. One tip, one piece of evidence, no matter how small, could finally bring her family the answers they've been desperately seeking. Her case also serves as a stark warning about the fragility of safety. We like to believe that the worst can't happen to us, that crimes like these are distant nightmares. But the truth is, Heather Teague could have been anyone. And until justice is served, her story remains unfinished. And remember, cases like these remind us that justice isn't just about finding the truth. It's about never giving up on those who can no longer speak for themselves.